To achieve economic transformation, African countries signed bilateral treaties in hopes of gaining foreign direct investment, jobs and development. But that's far from reality. According to civil society organizations, there are concerns that these treaties largely favor the investor at the expense of host countries.
Now, about a decade and a bit ago, in South Africa, we decided to terminate these things because one of the first things was we never saw a flow of foreign investment. We had no treaty with the United States or Japan. We had significant investments from those countries, and countries with whom we had signed agreements, we had nothing of an increase in investment.
Among these treaties, there are clauses like the investor-state dispute settlement mechanisms, where a single investor sues the whole government. For Uganda, reference was made to the recent litigation case between government and Total, where Total sued the Ugandan government in 2015 over a tax waiver, and it had to compensate discreetly.
And 3 years later, the government of Uganda settled with Total. The taxes were not paid, but something was, some compensation was awarded, but nobody knows of how much that compensation was awarded. You know why? Because the system allows the two parties to settle and not make this information public.
Tanzania itself has more than 10 cases, and the awards that we keep paying is too much. That money could be channeled to other developmental areas.
So what could the governments do to end these contentious treaties?
The one way of getting out of this is to terminate when the agreements come to their conclusion. Yes, we put in a law, which was an alternative. And we said this law is going to apply to everybody. It's not just the ones with whom we happen to have signed an agreement. It's going to be to the United States and Japan and everybody. And there's going to be a better balance. We're going to write it up in such a way that the rights of a state to regulate the public interest are guaranteed.
The minister has visited maybe Australia, China, they bring a document, they sign, you know, and it's really, really wrong, because as Fernando has pointed out, these are binding agreements, and when the time is right, they get them out.
According to United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, Uganda has 17 bilateral investment treaties, most of which are highly secretive. Ronah Nahabwe, NTV Business.